Check them out after good school.
Hey, my name's Jeff.
Hey, Jeff!
So, as I understand it, I'm supposed to disclose in a general way. What I was like, what happened to what I'm like today. So, I was born well, my birthday is August 31st, 2022. I was sponsored. My home was Mount Holly, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 8 o'clock. My sponsor's homework is the 10 a.m. heart meeting. He has a sponsor, Southern Pacific. He has a sponsor, Southern Pacific. He has a sponsor, Southern Pacific. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8. And they're all active in their home groups. It's like 100 years, we've been like one, like 30, 40, 50. So, I was born in West Charlotte, on Freedom Drive, in Westchester. You know, my mom and dad were just hard-working people who were born into like poverty, you know, and they just tried to give me and my sister a better life than they had, and they did. And then I remember like the first time I ever, when I had a beer, I was like 4 years old at a yard sale in Westchester. I'll never forget the guy's name was Bob Inlow. We're sitting there at the Westchester yard sale. I still picture this guy. And he's like, drinking like a Budweiser, and he gave me a Budweiser, and I took a sip, and I was like, oh man. He's laughing, thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And, you know, I didn't really have a taste for it then, but later on I was drinking like water. And when I was like 6 years old, we moved from Westchester to Coolwood, in a little nicer neighborhood. And that's when my alcohol really took effect. I mean, I was always wanting to just like rebel and do whatever I could. There was an elementary school right across the street called Paul Creek. And, you know, I'd go up there and climb around the roof, and, like, bully the other kids, jump off, and just like Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies. These kids are in like a building school, and they crash a plane, and they're on an island, and there's nobody to supervise them, and they just terrorize each other. That was cool. And, you know, like, when I was like maybe 12, we would steal cigarettes out of my dad's paper. My dad was paying my mom went for the bank. My dad drank, but he managed his life really well. He was just an awesome person. He was in heaven now, loving him to death. First person I made amends to. We would steal cigarettes out of his paint pan and go to Paul Creek and smoke. And that was the first thing, you know. Like even before that, I was just video games. You know, addicted to video games. Then, you know, people ripping each other's head off. And Mortal Kombat. And so then we went to up there, and that elementary school, that area was like the center of all our work lives, children alcoholics. We were all children alcoholics. Then, people I know around with the cool with. And I was just a really wild kid. You know, we would go to this elementary school and hide behind, still there if you want to check it out, Paul Creek, hide behind the school and throw rocks and cars. Then we would run, do it out of the woods, just want the police to come. When the police would come, we'd hide, get away, and yes, you know, that thrill of getting away with something. So then, hey bro, what's up with you? And you know, started doing, you know, Carolyn was the big thing, you know, the adrenaline from riding those rides was just the drug of choice I had when I was a kid. And then, whenever I got a little bit older, middle school was pretty normal. I mean, when I was like, I remember the first time I got drunk. I was in Coolwood Oaks, we were hitting the balls. But, you know, and, you know, guys broke out to old English. And I was like, man, you know, so I drank it, kept drinking it, and we used to ride our bikes around Coolwood. And I just remember riding my bike. It was like was in the neighborhood, nobody locked their doors, there's no crime. I rode my bike around there and just like, this is the best in the world. I didn't have any consequences at all, really. I just got rid of everything. And then, that was the first time I got drunk. And I really, really, really liked it. And I was like, I'm going to do this the rest of my life. There's no way I'm not going to drink until I'm 95 or 100 years old. Drink because I love it. I love getting high too. And my disease progressed, you know, when I was like, he talks about turning point. This is a big turning point for me. When I was in 11th grade at West Met, you know, I just got back from Myrtle Beach, and we just went down there and tore that place to pieces. We had a beach house down there, and we just got high and my best friend Josh Presley had 4 Brandon with hydraulics on it, you know, back in the late 90s. You know, that was the thing. We went down there and we came back, and then he used to get high every morning before school, and he was showing his breakfast buffet routine. This particular morning, he washed his hands at parties. And I was like, man, I do this every day. I wash my hands, not only don't wash my hands, but I carried a big bag of black tobacco in school with me. And I had a big plan for that weekend. It was just going to be another wild weekend in West Charlotte and partying and everything. God tried to show me something right there, but I was too stubborn. So I went to school and I had this bag of pot, and I just reeked with reefer. And the teacher in my best class is U.S. History AP, and the teacher who I had for 9th grade civics, who thought I was some kind of genius, which I wasn't, was powerful. She's like snowing on me, of course I didn't know. Next thing I know, security is coming in there. Can we see Jeffrey Chisholm? Assistant principal, Barry Burford. Coming in, I'm like, oh crap. So then take me into this other classroom, and they're like, you know, I talk away at everything. Well, a lot of folks talk away at this. And he's like, we heard through the network you may have some controlled substance or whatever. I'm like, yeah, what network? What are you talking about? So I try to take this bag of pot and stick it. Of course, he grabs it, and he's like, oh my goodness, this is the most pot I've seen in 15 years. Most probably seen 15 years before that. Day. And it was so bad, and I was like, well, what the hell worry about, man, this is going to kill my weekend. So I ended up going to Charlotte Mecklenburg jail, and 16 years old. I remember the guy was like, man, he was getting wanted. What? He was wanted. From the corrections people, and like, parents had to come pick me up, and ended up having to do some community service, and went to community service, and we were still getting in jail all the time, getting drunk, so I went to community service and did that, forged the signatures, and then we went to the museum, and then we went, this is what I was like, and then went to the community service museum after we forged the signatures, drunk. Because I used to steal alcohol out of my dad's building all the time. He drank in his building. My mom would let him keep it in the house because her father was an alcoholic, but never knew who died of this disease. So she wouldn't let him keep it in the house. I'd go up there and steal his alcohol all the time. He was drunk. And I was driving to the big museum drunk in downtown Charlotte. I went in there and spoke to the director of the big museum. And I was like, yeah, my signatures for the community. So drunk, 16, 17 years old. She's like, whose signatures for the people that work here? She's like, well, who are they? I was like, well, it's the attendant up here. She's like, all right, sign it. Get no consequences. Completely got out of it. And ended up getting done with that or whatever. And then when I was like 19, by the way, I got kicked out of West Med. I got to go to one academy for 2 months. Went back. They just kind of passed me through West Med. Had to go, didn't walk, didn't go to prom, didn't do none of that. Just went and got my diploma the last day. But by then, I just had enough for Charlotte. So me and my 2 friends, who I would drink with all the time, I made a decision. I said, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not getting high. I'm going to do this geographical change. So I moved. I was working with Sherwin's Paints, and I transferred to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, the store there. We moved to Raleigh. And for that whole year, except New Year's Eve, I didn't drink for a year. But my 2 roommates, that's all they did. They were doing the college experience, and they had friends over there. We were like all excited about drinking. I was just sitting there like, this is so lame. I've been doing this since I was like 14, they're all excited. This is nothing. Now, I was miserable. All I did was go to work, come back home. But then you have a little bit of a spiritual experience even after not doing anything after about 6 months, because I was exercising, and September 11th happened, and everybody was all high, and more people was running high. So I was like, yeah, this is cool and everything. And then after that year, I went back to Charlotte because family, they were like, you were missing me. I wanted to go back to Charlotte. Didn't want to live up there anymore, so I transferred back to Sherwin-Williams to the store on South Boulevard, and I got right back into that same cycle. And everything's part of my story. So then, that particular year, my best friend, who I made amends to, Bobby, he wanted to go to Las Vegas. And I was like, yeah, I had a vacation with Sherwin-Williams, 2002. I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we rented a car, we flew out there, and that's when I discovered blackjack. Yeah. And alcohol blackjack. And I was at Hard Rock Casino, we had a red eye flight back to Charlotte, and I was on fire, beginner's luck, pushing $500 out there. He was like, come on, Jim, we gotta go. That's what I want to do. We went in here. If he hadn't have pulled me out of there, I could be in Vegas right now. And we went to Hoover Dam and hung over, and I was like, we're going to Hoover Dam, man. We'll be back at the casino. I'm free. And so, I got back to the red eye flight, got back to Charlotte, and then, I got out of the casino up in Cherokee, Harris Cherokee Casino. And I started going up there all the time, gambling and stuff, and losing all my money. It was awful. It cost me everything, and then I just ended up banning myself, self-86 myself, getting what I do. You think you can stop? I was like, probably not. There might be like a 10% chance I can want all this money back, so I banned myself. So I didn't go up there anymore. And 2005, I discovered, my story was a part of it, I discovered crack. And it got really dark again. I smoked crack all the time and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And, I was a little bottle drunk for sure. Trading my car for crack. But then I went to detox one time at Mercy Horizons. Man, I'll show my ass in there terrible. Those people really struggle, and I was just not ready. And I really want that system withdrawal. And eating all the food, and the psychiatrist was like, yeah, we'll see you again. And I was like, okay. Got out, and that's when I discovered the clinic. Sharp treatments was in Cloud Center first. And I started going to the clinic, because I was trying to find that synthetic solution to a spiritual problem. That's what I was looking for. It was a treatment, so it was legitimate, right? Prescribed. So I started taking that every day, and then got a job at Harris Teeter, and I was just kind of doing all right there. I mean, it gave me so much energy, that synthetic energy, that I could just work like crazy, I could sleep. And then 3 years went by, 2000, 2011, I crashed and burned. Went to another detox facility, and same place, Mercy Horizons. We got out and went, tried the Suboxone thing. That was a half measure for methadone. So they threw it away. So then I went to Queen City Treatment and lied and told them, I needed this stuff. And I did Queen City Treatment, I went to Hickory Grove. And I rode that vicious cycle for 9 years. And they started me out on like 10 or 15 milligrams, that's what they do. And I lied and cheated and manipulated my way to getting up to 275 milligrams a day. And with the take-homes that they were giving me, I was taking more like 500 milligrams. But I took the gratitude I was on that, because I died so many times and came back to life. My cat would wake up. And it was rough. It was rough. I was manipulating, and so what happened was the Xanax, the methadone, everything just stopped working. The doctor there told me, we don't know how tolerance works with methadone, so we can find out. And it stopped working. And I was just an Asian doctor, and then Dr. G. I think I need more. No, I don't need no more, 275. Oh. I'm like, all right, well, I'm food blood then. And I was sitting there, I had a plan worked out to go to Queen City treatment, go to the Xanax doctor. I was lying, cheating, manipulating, give me the Xanax. And I couldn't do it anymore. And there's a moment there when people, I think, my next door neighbors were religious, and they were praying for me. I think a lot of people were just doing some heavy prayer for me because I was sitting there crying, sobbing, just uncontrollably, and there's like a 10-15 second period when somebody just hadn't slept for months, weeks, couldn't sleep, couldn't function, my body was failing, I had pre-diabetes, I was overweight, I was just physically dying, mentally dying, spiritually dying, everything. There's like a 15-second period there when people just can't do it. And I think people reach for a weapon, and that's what I was going to do with my phone right there. So I grabbed that phone, I called 911. I went to Keys Mountain Behavioral Health, and I was still manipulated because I was terrified of dying from withdrawals because I had this thing in my mind that you could die from withdrawals, and I was like, on the way they were telling me Queen City was going to take 2 years to get off of that stuff, so I was like, man, there's no way I can do this for 2 more years because I'm not taking it to wean off. I'm taking it to get more and more and more higher and higher and higher and higher. I'm an alcoholic. That's what I did. And so I went to Keys Mountain Behavioral Health and was really, really sick still. Got out of there, and for some reason they gave me this pamphlet for Women's and Treatment Center. I was reading it in my place. I was actually starting to feel a little bit better, but for some reason I hadn't taken steps too, so I was still the same. And I was like, well, I need to go to Women's and Treatment Center. And they said they're specifically designed to detox off benzos and everything, so I need to go there. And this wasn't that long ago. This was last summer. This was like last July. And I get in there, and that's when I get into psychosis and violence and belligerency, and it's just crazy, man. There'd be a long line of people waiting to get their medication, about 50 people working in this room. And I would just walk right past all of them. I thought I was hitting the electric from science and so I put on this mask and just be like walking. And I don't know, there's a lot of people like that. They had their masks on. And so I went to there. I had like a issue where I had a seizure and hit the ground, came back up, and one of the nurses looked up, psychopathy. And so then I got up and I was just an absolute wreck, and like one dude came at me too quick, and I was like, oh, I said, I'm not working on this. And the other guy that does some medication with it, I went out to my Howard's use or something. And then I crashed, hit my head on the floor, came back up. And then they sent me to the hospital. I was trying to get out of there, what I was trying to do. I wanted to leave, and I didn't know how to leave. So I was pulling the fire alarm, that perimeter fence, but I jumped. I was actually going to just go swim in the ocean or something. I was insane. And we'll be back in. So then, this is what happened. So then, I go to another institution after that because I was voluntarily committed because I was insane. I was belligerent and drug-induced psychosis. So go there, and this was the worst. I was like, man, I'm about to go permanently insane. And my biggest fear was like I'd be here for a long, long time, or I'd go to problem and just be like a vegetable. I was just really, really scared. And so then they let me out of there. I went back to my place, and for like the first 2 months I was sober from August, or I'm sorry, from my sobriety was August 31st, 2022. But for the first 2 months, I was like the guy in the story, the man who mastered fear, who was too scared he could walk out or look out the window or do anything. He couldn't go out, and he walked around the neighborhood. I was too scared to walk around the neighborhood. I was just laying there. But then I started watching this movie called Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, and the movie they were saying the Lord's Prayer. So I started saying that over and over again. I was like, just start sleeping some. And then I started to pray a little bit. And then I went to Phoenix Counseling. I was trying to find Phoenix Counseling. Again, I'm like the guy who mastered fear before he mastered fear. I was driving and I got into the other lane, a car hit me. And I was like, man, I have to keep going. I can't go back home. I got in an accident. I drove my car to Phoenix Counseling. There was this guy named Ben there who was a godsend for me. He was like, I was on Xanax and I had to withdraw off of it. I had a special doctor, but you just need to go to meetings. I was like, well, I have a flip phone. I have internet. I didn't need the internet. So he's like, you just need to go to meetings. And I was like, okay. So I found out about PUT, 302 Brook Street. My mom took me over there. And I walked in there and I was just like, man, I'm so broken. And then that was the beginning of a new spiritual life. The spiritual life's not theory, it works. And so I got with Kelly and I was rich. And we didn't work, man, because I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I had a future plan. When I got caught with that whacking tobacco, they sent me to a place called Change on East Boulevard. There was an old town down there named Tim Bridgham that took us kids across the street to the dealer meeting. And I couldn't relate to anybody because they had cars and seniors. So anyway, the nice guys. And seeds were planted and stuff, so me and Kelly just worked through the steps, and, I'll back up a little bit. So when I was in the active method, this is what it was like. I lived in this little motel. It was like it almost came full circle. It was a mile from where I was born, called Southern Comfort Inn in Charlotte. It was a little room, I had candles lit. I was going through what I couldn't do for myself because I could have died many times. I did die many times. It was just like my soul came back through me. And so I would walk. I had to go to the clinic once every 2 weeks. I'd take homes. And I would worship these methadone things like God. I mean, I had them in a box. It was almost like an idol or something. I would just like love them and everything, my precious. And so I would take it and I would walk across the street in Valo and work there. We had this big remodel going on. We changed the car to Harvey's, and after that, I don't know how long. This stuff just gave me so much energy. Synthetic energy, because that's what it is, 100% synthetic. And after that, man, it just like, I was like, I gotta drink. So one day, East Wilkinson, I just disappeared for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's awful. So anyway, got Kelly my sponsor, and then we went to work. I was ready. It was life or death. So I was just like, man, I gotta do the deal. And so, we did the steps, and I have to revisit the steps sometimes. I have to do a step 10 every day. I was doing step 11 before I came here, trying to seek God's rules, having secrets and share my experience with hope. And the steps are really where it's at. The principles behind the steps. So step 1 is honesty. I always have to be honest. I'm totally powerful with alcohol in my life. I had to go in. I had to have hope that power greater than myself years ago than insanity. I had to surrender my life and my will to care of God as I understand Him. I had to have courage to make the searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. I had to have integrity to admit to God and myself and other human beings the exact nature of my wrongs. I had to be willing and always willing to have God entirely remove these defects of character. I had to have humility to humbly ask Him to remove my shortcomings. I had to have love to make a harm's list and became willing to make a list of them all because the people I love the most are the people I love. So that's the principle of my story. Step 9 is responsibility and forgiveness. I have to forgive myself and I have to take responsibility for my actions and start making direct amends where we're watching myself injury on the road. Then I have to have discipline and perseverance to do step 10 every day, like all those mistakes, past and present, whenever possible. And then I have to continue to have spiritual awareness by seeking God's will, only His will for me. And then I can be of service to another alcoholic and try to practice these principles in all my affairs. And I'm not the head poster child, like the old one was early on. You know what? I can try to be and you know, like, I started when I was 14. What it's like now is a complete full circle. Okay. Everything's good at my employer. I'm a good employee. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't mislead them, I don't lead them down the wrong path. I accept the things I cannot change. I encourage to change the things I can. I have some wisdom to know the difference. And, you know, it's a totally different life. You know, it's just a totally different life. I went with my sisters today. I took my nieces to presents that I got at the beach. Before I did do that, you know, I've made a lot of direct amends. I'm still making financial amends. Yeah, I mean, it's something better life, man. Can't even begin to describe it. And I keep it so simple. Position of neutrality, safe and protected. Very simple. I get up, I go to work, I hit meetings, I talk to my sponsor, I try to do service work. I'm a good citizen. I got jury duty coming up. You know, if I try to get out of jury duty, I'm going to do jury duty. And you know, God will always bring something good out of that. You know, because evil can only triumph for a short period. Because I was enslaved to my disease, and my disease of the enemy were the same, and that took me to a depraved state, an altered state of consciousness where I would not regret the past, shut the door on it, and I would stay the solution because we do recover from a hopeless mind state and body. And you know, I have friends today that I haven't had since childhood because all my friends, you know, if we didn't have wacky tobacco, I didn't have some, we didn't have drugs, I mean, we didn't socialize with it. It was just all about that. It wasn't about any kind of fellowship or friendship. And, you know, yeah, I mean, my relationships now are healthy and productive, and I don't try to deceive anybody. I'm just real gratitude, patience, tolerance, love, kindness, courtesy, justice, all those positive character traits that we get when we remove all our defects and shortcomings, you know. And, you know, finished a little bit early, so that's my story. I mean, you know, it's a good life.
Thanks, Jeff. Great story. Be careful that